I've been pissed off over John Cena winning the title, losing it within 3 weeks, winning it back again, losing it, winning it back within 3 weeks. He's up to 15 title reigns. He's won virtually every championship with the exception of the Intercontinental title, and it's beyond me why. He didn't win that in the earlier stages of his career, but he's virtually won every championship with the exception of very few that he's been eligible to compete for, as well as every honor and accolade has been given to John Cena. He's one of 4 or 5 individuals to win 2 Royal Rumble matches in their respective careers, joining likes of Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Shawn Michaels, and Dave Bautista, which says a lot about John Cena's character. He's won a Money in the Bank contract in a Money in the Bank ladder match that featured the minimal amount of superstars that we have ever seen in a Money in the Bank ladder match, but no disrespect towards John Cena for doing that. He did win the Money in the Bank briefcase. He's done a lot, so I think it's time for his time to be up in professional wrestling, as I previously said in a video blog. But in that same regard, I think it's time for Rusev's character to depart with WWE, because I don't see anything being done creatively with Rusev's character. Trying to have him regain momentum after losing the U.S. title to John Cena at WrestleMania 31 is pointless. He has a rematch clause in his contract. I think it needs to be done as early as Extreme Rules, and it needs to be getting out of the way. You know, we have 2 major main events to look forward to at Extreme Rules. The first is Randy Orton and Seth Rollins for the championship, with Randy Orton trying to get redemption on what happened to him at the expense of Seth Rollins and the Authority last November. And we have the U.S. title rematch from WrestleMania 31's fallout between Rusev and John Cena, with John Cena, I predict, winning this match and kind of evening it out a little bit with Rusev 1 and 2 against John Cena. That's what I see happening there. It's not quite evened out with 2 wins going to John Cena and just 1 out of Rusev as a result of John Cena passing up back at Fastlane, but it pretty much evens it out, you know, settles the score, and we get that point of finality reached in the feud between Rusev and John Cena. One of the biggest things that frustrates me is how much coverage we're seeing on CNN about the U.S. and Russia's war and everything going on politically between them, and I'm sure you're very frustrated with it as well if you subscribe to us over on our Facebook page at facebook.com/HEW Entertainment, on Twitter at Jonathan Clarke1. I apologize on behalf of our CNNnews.com feed because it posts something every half an hour, and the majority of the news coverage that's popping up politically on our Facebook page and being tweeted for you on Twitter over at Jonathan Clarke1 is in pertain to the U.S. and Russia, and there are a lot of different potential parties you can put the blame on for that. CNN can't get enough of negativity. That's one thing I find about CNN. They love to shit all over things happening in the U.S. and Russia in terms of political news coverage and just everything in general in the world. CNN loves to show it. They can't get enough of it, and that's one of the biggest reasons why WWE have jumped on the backs of news programs over the world, because they want to get the publicity from all the negativity happening in different parts of the world in these third world countries. So WWE are jumping all over this by having a feud between Rusev and John Cena, and most of all having Rusev and Lana coming out and running down the U.S. and comparing their president, Vladimir Putin, to Barack Obama, who only has a few months left in office before himself and his First Lady, Michelle Obama, get out of Dodge. So they're taking every proverbial shot they can at the U.S., and I think there's no need of it. It's absolutely uncalled for, especially with how President Barack Obama, worked with WWE in 2011 to promote the Capital Punishment pay-per-view, and has worked with WWE on the SmackDown Your Vote campaign and everything WWE has gotten going on positively for the kids campaign and various other campaigns they have launched during Barack Obama's term. He's very supportive of the WWE. So how can WWE Creative even get away with this financial feud between the U.S. and Russia by having John Cena going up against Rusev? I haven't seen more fans in the corner of John Cena. That's one of the good things about this feud. There are more fans in the corner of John Cena in this feud with Rusev, so he has the fan support, more fan support than he would have had if he would have went up against someone like Triple H or Shawn Michaels. So he has a lot of fan support going for him in this feud with Rusev, and he is my prediction to win this match, defending the U.S. title going in as a defending champion. Now, if John Cena is leaving the company, the chances of him losing this match to Rusev and dropping the title are far greater than him retaining the title, because he has to find a way to exit the company for however long he's going to be gone. There's no definite time frame on how long John Cena is going to be gone, and there's no definite certainty in the futures of Rusev and Lana, and if Rusev is even going to come back as a repackaged character, which is the best chance we have of seeing Rusev and Lana, if they do come back, being repackaged and not referring to the U.S. And the best way to do that, with him not referring to the U.S. in promos, is to not come back as Rusev, just to come back as a different character, like we saw with Skip Sheffield, like we saw with the Silverback in 2004, various characters thrown the way of Ryback before he debuted as Ryback years after, and made quite the impression on the WWE fans. So many times have we seen wrestlers repackaged, and we could be seeing it for Rusev in the coming months, although that is not certain. There's a lot of uncertainty that goes with Rusev and John Cena's feud, and there's so much that can be done with John Cena and Rusev over the next several months, and I'm really looking forward to finding out where we go from here in the fallout of Extreme Rules 2015, which is usually a big pay-per-view every year. If you actually sit back and put it into perspective, I mean, there's so much done in terms of a follow-up to WrestleMania over the years with Extreme Rules. We see a lot of rematches from WrestleMania put off at Extreme Rules, and we see a lot of fallout examined with video packages and stuff for Extreme Rules to make room for what could happen at pay-per-views like Payback and SummerSlam down the road on the pay-per-view calendar. So there's a lot that can be done with Extreme Rules 2015 this year, and I'm really looking forward to finding out what will be in the follow to the pay-per-view, which we're only just a few weeks away from. But one of the biggest things I hope to see from all of this coming out of it will be Rusev and Lana's characters being killed off WWE television. I wrote about it in the column for In This Corner with Jonathan Clarke. He is one of the characters that I absolutely detest and despise in professional wrestling, because WWE know they can put him on television and they can get away with it because he gets under your skin. If he wasn't getting under the skin of, say, maybe 50,000 wrestling fans or 100,000 wrestling fans, that demographic, then he probably wouldn't be coming out and cutting these promos, and he probably wouldn't be on television as much as what he is. Because he's getting under the skin of so many people, that's why Rusev is there. No matter how many times someone gets under your skin, they will keep coming back. It's kind of like how The Miz was champion in 2010, 2011. He was champion for 5 months. That was a considerable amount of time. But the reason why he was champion for so long was because he frustrated a lot of people and he got on your nerves. And anybody who gets on your nerves as a heel character gets the numbers and will keep coming back and will never go away. So if Rusev continues to get under our skin in terms of political views with professional wrestling and what happens behind the proverbial closed door, as long as he continues to get under our skin, he's going to keep coming back. So if you want a bit of an insight in terms of politics with professional wrestling, which Triple H allows, I have no idea about. The way to go about political issues in professional wrestling is like this. Look at it in a way in terms of a political issue. Don't respond to what Rusev has to say, and Rusev will go away. It kind of rhymes. It kind of, it comes together. But if you want to look at it in terms of a political point of view, if you don't respond to Rusev, he's not going to come there anymore. He's not going to show up on television anymore because he's not getting the hatred from the fans. He's not getting the hatred that he wants you to respond to him with, which he's achieving every week by cutting these insulting promos towards the U.S. So don't respond to Rusev, and he will be taken away, and we won't see him anymore in terms of a political point of view, which Triple H, again, allows. I have no sense about. But I do. After 15, 16 years, I pretty much know how it works. Rusev is going to go at some point. I just don't know when Rusev is going to go, and I can't wait for Rusev to go. Never really been a big fan of Rusev. I wasn't a fan of him as Alexander Rusev on NXT, and back then on NXT, he wasn't running down America as much as what he is now. That's the interesting thing about Alexander Rusev. I don't know why they dropped the name Alexander from Rusev. Maybe because they felt that Rusev, just going by Rusev, his last name, was more infamous. They did the same thing with Cesaro, dropping Antonio as his first name and referring to him as Cesaro. I don't know what it is about wrestlers going by their first name. That really pisses me off because that takes away a lot of credibility. It makes them seem more infamous, but really is that the way to go about a character? I wasn't a fan of him as Alexander Rusev on NXT. Not so much even more a fan of him now on Raw and SmackDown. I could care less if we see him, and he's not going to be a big loss to WWE in terms of a skilled athlete. I mean, Rusev is perfection. I mean, he's one of the best pure wrestlers that WWE have had since Kurt Angle, in my opinion, because he's one of those legit wrestlers who you can get away with promoting on television, but the thing is they're not promoting Rusev the right way. And because they're not promoting Rusev the right way, they're failing in more than one way and more than one aspect with Rusev's character. What you have to do with Rusev is you have to put him on there and you have to have him dominate, have a win streak that is unstoppable in the way of him winning the championship instead of the U.S. title. Yes, the U.S. title victory from Rusev is a great way of introducing his character and repackaging Sheamus, although Sheamus came back more weirder than what I initially thought he was going to, with the heel change and the mohawk and the dreadlocks. It was so terrible what they did with Sheamus off his loss to Rusev. It was a great way of catapulting Rusev as it was John Cena back in 2004, with John Cena's first major singles title being the U.S. title. But really, in my opinion, what you should have had done with Rusev is had him come in, win the title, and face people like Brock Lesnar in one-on-one matches, because there's just something about Brock Lesnar versus Rusev that would have got pay-per-view numbers, in my opinion. In terms of a wrestling match, you couldn't have had any better than Rusev going up against Brock Lesnar. Those are the people that Rusev should have been facing from the get-go, not the people like the Zack Ryders, not the people like the Santino Marellas. What he needed to do was face names that were on his same level, the Brock Lesnars, the Kanes, and you would have got somewhere more prominent with Rusev, because you didn't have